Joining us now, and we're live from Washington, D.C., right in the middle of the swamp at Corey Lewandowski Milky Way Galactic Headquarters, our studio here, by the way. But right now, House of Delegates member, Southwest Virginia, Terry Kilgore. Delegate Kilgore, great to have you on again, man.
Hey, great to be on with you this morning. Hope you're doing great.
Never better. Really looking forward to the president's speech tonight. A lot of us were advocating this for a long time. I saw him last evening at a briefing with his top media surrogates, and under all the pressure he's under, the president in a great mood yesterday, laughing and joking and just having a good time. He understands the issues, and I look forward to him really laying the facts out tonight. So, Delegate, here we go again, right? Rolling into Richmond, General Assembly about to convene in the next day or so. I just had Kirk Cox on. I love your tax cut. And look, I was with the Democrats yesterday, Saslaw and David Marston, who used to be a Republican, by the way. Chap Peterson is reasonable. And although they don't want to give the Republicans any credit, they couldn't help themselves but agree that the Kirk Cox and Republicans' tax cut plan made sense. So,
well, it does. It does.
How do you get this done?
I mean, it's just clearly.
How do you get this done?
Go ahead.
How do you get this done?
Well, I mean, I think we can get it done. I think we just got to sit down. Unlike Washington, we've got to balance a budget. We've got to make sure that the schools and our deputy sheriffs and everybody are funded. So we're going to sit down and talk about it with Governor Northam and with the Democrats. But we really do need to fix this issue. Because of federal tax law, which really President Trump pushed to give a tax break and give tax cuts, but it significantly increased the standard deduction. And a lot of Virginians are going to be taking that standard deduction instead of itemizing. But on the flip side, in Virginia, then they're going to be paying higher taxes. So we need to make sure that we fix it to give that windfall back to the taxpayers, back to those individuals who are paying, and by allowing them to do the standard deductions. I think it makes sense. It's common sense approach. There's nothing, nothing extreme about it. So I think that's something that we can work on during this session to get it through. There's a lot of reasonable people on both sides of the aisle that I think see the problem and see that this is the solution.
So there's no 60-vote cloture rules in the House of Delegates?
No.
Right? So I mean, you've got a majority in the Senate. It's going to pass there. No question about it. I can't think of why a Republican senator would be opposed to giving money back to middle-class, hardworking Virginians. I couldn't imagine. I think it's going to certainly pass the House of Delegates because it makes sense. I mean, first of all, just again to go over the three pieces of it. Number one, it gives people in Virginia the opportunity to itemize at the state level if they so choose to do that. Why would you take that choice away? What would be the argument? No, you can't choose what to do. What would be the argument for that?
I've thought about it. I don't know what the argument would be other than, hey, I want government to keep more money, and I want the government to expand, and we know better how to spend it than you as a family member do. But that's $800-900 is a lot of money to a lot of families out here who are living paycheck to paycheck. And I think it's their money. We ought to make sure that they're able to keep their money and spend it on their kids or spend it on a bill that all of a sudden comes up. So I think it's a smart move and a reasonable move.
Okay, then let's go to the second item, which is you get to raise the standard deduction if you so choose to take the standard. This is the thing. If you choose to take the standard deduction and you don't want to itemize, fine. Then we're going to raise that $8,000 to couples and $4,000 for individuals. Now, it doesn't matter if you make $25,000 or $125,000. You get the benefit of a higher deduction if you so choose not to itemize. Who on earth would be opposed to that?
just those folks who want to keep the money is all I can say. I mean, I think that it's a very reasonable opportunity for folks, and we're not saying you do this or you do that. Like you said, John, you choose.
You choose.
If you want to itemize and go at it. So, it makes a lot to our citizens do it.
That's why I think this makes all the sense in the world. And I just named two of them. Delegate Terry Kilgore. If you go to the third one, which is they're going to take the cap or the $10,000 cap off SALT, which is the state and local taxes. Right now there's a $10,000 cap. They want to take that off because, look, if you happen to live in – I mean, look, a lot of the Democrats criticized the Trump tax cut because it increased taxes on people with bigger homes and bigger mortgages, high property taxes, Fairfax and Alexandria, things like that, where they have the McMansions. Now, you guys are saying, okay, well, let's take the cap off, whatever it is. You can deduct that. Again, I mean, the only people that would be opposed to this are those that want to keep more of your money. Or they could say, well, we hate the Trump tax cut. We want to screw the economy. Well, I mean, it's passed. It's law.
I just don't understand that. And, there's a lot of people, as you know, John, that are paying a lot of state and local taxes. And $10,000 is not a whole lot. If you have a reasonably priced house, it's not a whole lot. So a lot of times you're going to get a tax bill of $10,000 by the time you pay your real estate tax, your property tax, and other local taxes. You're going to have something over $10,000, and that's a tax, and we ought to allow you to deduct that from what you're paying.
All right, now I have to go over this with the speaker for a couple of minutes, but there's some rumor going around. Here's a text I got from William in Norfolk, Virginia, who said, John, you said the Republicans wouldn't go after our guns. Well, one of the new laws they're trying to propose and cut a deal with Ralph Northam is an assault weapons ban. There's secret meetings. I saw this all over the internet. The Republicans want to ban assault weapons with guns with magazines over 10 rounds, which bans most semi-automatic handguns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Republicans are selling us out. What is the deal with this?
No, that's not true. We're not. Our caucus believes in the Second Amendment. We're not making any secret deals with Governor Northam to take your Second Amendment rights away, to ban assault weapons or anything of that nature. So I don't see any of those bills passing.
Where do these come from? I mean, where do these rumors come from? Like, people just make them up and send them out?
People, it must do it because people just make things up and get behind a keyboard and start typing. I don't know where those come from, but I can tell you those bills are dead on arrival. I do not see any of those getting to the floor, and then I don't see them passing. Even if they did, I don't see it passing. So I don't think there's anything to, of course it's going to be a fight, but I don't see that there's anything to worry about.
We're with House of Delegates member Terry Kilgore, Republican, Southwest Virginia. Delegate Kilgore, let's get to school safety and the Republicans' agenda going into this 2019 Virginia General Assembly. Democrats, they want to talk about guns. We want to talk about school safety and keeping our kids safe. These are real issues that people care about. Is there a Republican plan in 2019 that you might be able to negotiate with Governor Northam that would increase school safety in Virginia?
Well, yeah, obviously, I think we have a plan to move forward. Speaker Cox had a school select meeting all summer on safety, came up with some great ideals. A couple of those ideals surround, mental health, getting more mental health guidance counselors into the schools to talk to kids when it's perceived that there are problems. And another thing we've got to do is continue to have more school resource officers, because if you have school resource officers, an officer with a gun and able to protect those children, I think it really could prevent something like this from happening. And, you know, down in Lee County, one of the counties I represent, they're even going as far as the school board's asked to arm some of their teachers who have been trained. So there's a lot of opportunities out there to make sure that we provide safety for our school kids, because, you know, when parents drop their kids off at school, they're in our care. They're in the school system's care, and we need to make sure that we provide a safe environment for those kids.
Where are you going to get the money for additional resource officers?
Well, I mean, we've got, you know, like I say, we've got money this year with some of the new monies coming in as a result of the Trump tax cut. We've got, you know, more people, you know, the economy's booming. Things are working well here in Virginia, so we've got some money that we could put some more school resources officers out there. And, you know, a lot of localities are already in the process of doing that on their own. So, you know, I think it's going to be a partnership with the state and local governments to make sure that we're able to fund those. And I know that, you know, as far as the school guidance counselors, I think we can find the money for that.
Delegate Terry Kilgore with us, Republican Southwest Virginia. Let me just ask you this. The governor's budget, Ralph Northam's budget, $2.2 billion in spending. This is predicated on a $1.2 billion budget. So this is one of the biggest spending budgets I've ever seen since I've been here. And basically what Governor Northam wants to do is take the Trump tax cut revenue, which is pouring in. That's why your coffers are so flush right now, way ahead of budget. And he wants to just spend it. But one of the things he wants to spend it on is he wants to give teachers a raise, 5%. Wants to give state troopers a raise, 5%. Both of those are at the lower end of the pay scale in the country. Can you do some of it? I mean, that I think generally people back giving teachers a raise, state troopers a raise. How do you navigate your way through that, plus do your tax cut?
Well, I mean, I think we can give raises. We can do some good things for our employees that work for the state. Teachers, I'm very supportive of teachers. I think they are underpaid, and our state troopers, they do a great job day in and day out. But, you know, when the rubber meets the road in the General Assembly, and the governor can come out and do a lot of press conferences and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But, you know, we're the ones that ultimately have to decide what we have the money for and what the priorities are. And then we'll go back to the governor and work with him. But I think we can do a lot of those things. Can we do 5%? I'm not sure about that. But we can make a big dent in bringing the teachers to the national level. We can make a big dent into making sure that our state troopers and our sheriff's deputies and others are, compensated for the jobs that they do to keep us safe.
All right, final question here. I got another text here from William in Norfolk. He said he heard on Channel 3 this morning that Democrats were attempting to get gun legislation that's going to ban semi-automatic. So this gun thing now seems to be dominating the day here in Virginia.
Yeah.
Can you just address William directly? Is there going to be an assault weapons ban and some nefarious deal on guns?
Yeah, William, there is not going to be an assault weapons ban in Virginia this year. I can tell you that. We're going to, that Second Amendment. All of us are very strong supporters of the Second Amendment, and that's not going to happen.
All right, that's going to be the final word. House of Delegates member, Republican Conservative, Southwest Virginia, Terry Kilgore. Delegate Kilgore, always great to have you on. Love your refreshing, candid perspective. Thanks for being with us, sir.